Hello everybody, welcome to another riveting episode of Krista's Fireside Journalism Lectures. I hope you're all warm this morning, or maybe it's afternoon. Anyway, it's really cold in my house, just so you know. So, this morning's lecture will start off with a briefing of the F1, your first formative assessment in journalism. And so, to start off with, I'd like to do a little bit of housekeeping. Hold on. Helps to put the cursor there. Hello everybody. Yeah. So, if you're watching, and I know that there is at least 2 of you out there, then put your name into the live chat and claim your space here on Krista's Fireside Lectures. Now, the F1. Your first assessment in journalism is... Okay, let me just move it over here. Due... in the week of the 31st of August to the 4th of September, as far as I can tell. So you have that whole week to submit this assessment. Okay. Let's go through it. Now, before I start briefing this, please just know that you will learn and we will cover and I will explain all of these aspects of the content of the course before the due date. So if you feel like you might not be able to answer it now, that's fine, because we're only starting our second lecture. We'll cover all of this stuff during the course of the next 5 weeks. So don't complain and don't panic. Okay, that's the main thing. Don't panic. And also just remember that if you do test yourself in your first journalism assessment and you bomb out, there is always the SUP, okay, to improve your mark, and there is also the summative and the summative SUP. So don't panic if you expect to get 80% for your first assessment. You do, maybe you don't, but don't beat yourself up about it, because this is how we get better. We test ourselves and then we improve ourselves. Okay, so firstly, question 1. For 20 marks, you need to carefully read A and B. So this here is A, and this here is B. Okay, they're both, not current, obviously, because they come from April and June, but they are both real articles, and you'll see the full URL. Okay, and then answer these questions. Number 1, carefully examine the 2 stories and name the media platforms that they were published on or extracted from. Okay, for 2 marks. Simple, basic. Just name the media platforms that they came from. Number 2, pick one of the above articles. State which article you have chosen with a reference, okay, and identify the 5 W's and the H in the lead of the article that you have chosen. Now, you won't understand any of those things right now, but you will understand them in next week and the week after. Okay? Number 3, your news editor has asked you to interview Stefan Richard to find out more about his life as a businessman. What type of interview will you conduct, and explain why? Now, with this one, you need to reference. You need to reference in terms of the Harvard style of academic referencing. Okay, so that's your brackets, surname of the author, year of publication, and page number if applicable. And you need to then say why. Why are you going to choose that particular type of interview? Again, we will cover this in the course of the next few weeks. Number 4, provide a 3-sentence anecdote of a personal experience that you have had. It's for 3 marks. It's 1 mark per sentence. Don't give me 2 sentences because then you'll get 2 marks. Give me 3 sentences for 3 marks. An anecdote is a personal story. It is a story about a person's experience. Okay? And if I'm asking you for a 3-sentence anecdote, that means you have to set it up in the first sentence, explain the action in the second sentence, and conclude it in the third sentence. It's really basic, really simple, but it also means that you have to think carefully about, firstly, what experience you're going to describe, and secondly, what words you're going to use in each sentence to make it work as effectively as you can. Okay, so it's a space limit thing. It's, we're testing to see how you can use words, put them in a sentence effectively so that each word has a purpose and a function. Question 2 for 20 marks. You have witnessed an accident, and as a journalist, you conducted interviews with 2 other witnesses and the attending medics and police services, and you have written down the following information from your interviews. Okay, and here are your notes that you have made as a journalist during your interviews. So, write 1 story for a social media platform of your choice. Okay, social media, we'll go through which platforms are social media platforms in the course of the next few weeks. But I'm fairly certain that you guys already know Facebook, Twitter, those are social media. There are a few others out there as well. So, choose one, pick a platform, and then write a story for that platform. In your news report, use the inverted pyramid, relevant type of lead, quotes, and attributions. You can use additional multimedia information such as photographs or graphics, but you must include references for them. Part of the story that you can sort of not take from the information that you've got here. Okay. So if you use a photo, and obviously it's not going to be of this accident because this is another accident entirely and you haven't got a photo of it, you haven't been given a photo of it. So if you want to include a photo or a graphic, make sure that first of all it must be appropriate to the scenario, and you must also include a reference. So wherever it is that you got the photo from, you have to credit that source. Otherwise you will get the plagiarism penalty. And lastly, we've got 10 marks for technical aspects. So 5 marks for spelling, grammar, syntax, and formatting. And then 5 marks for references, journal Harvard referencing. Now, these questions here are actual questions using a source, and you're answering them in terms of an academic style. So you need to use academic referencing where you use theory here. Okay? Here, you are writing an article. You don't find academic referencing in articles. You find journalistic attribution, and we will go over that later on. So just make a note of that for yourselves. So question 1, where you use the theory, academic referencing. Question 2, when you write your article, journalistic attribution. Okay, if you've made a note, I'm going to quickly check and see if there are any. Oh, how's it? The words on my screen aren't clear. Okay, first of all, the words will be clear because you should be able to access this document from Cole Campus. This is the F1 brief. So if you can't see it, that's not a problem. Just, go to Cole Campus and download the brief from there. Okay. Babalwa, I haven't seen you in ages. Oh, okay. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. It's great to see so many people watching. How's it? Okay, yes, nothing is clear. You should also, if you want to look at it, okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to repeat, but if you want to see clearly, then you should take, because right now I'm live streaming and I think the default is 144p, whatever that is. But if you want to actually see this, then you can change it to a higher resolution, so like 360 whatever, or 480 or something like that. And you'll see that at the bottom corner of your screen, the little cog thing. So this is the this is the F1 brief. It is really basic. It is really straightforward. There's nothing to get stressed about. It's also only out of 50 marks. Okay. So here is the mark breakdown. Now, once you have done your draft, you can check to see whether you have given enough information. How can you check? Because you look at each question and you go, okay, this is worth 2 marks. Have I given 2 worthwhile statements for this mark? And when I say worthwhile, I mean something that actually gives me an some information. Statements that demonstrate that you understand the theory, that you understand the ideas that you are using in your. Also, when you use the theory, it must come with an in-text reference, and if you quote out of the book, you must use quotation marks. Okay. Make sure that you complete your cover page and sign the declaration. Okay. Okay. I think that's it for the brief. Again, you can ask questions on the WhatsApp group. You can send messages to me directly on WhatsApp, and you can also email me. I'm going to do this again. This is my WhatsApp number, and this is my email address. If you don't have it, now you do. Okay. So, now that we've finished looking at that, yeah, this is a little bit awful, isn't it? You can go to 480 and it might improve it. But again, you don't necessarily have to read it off the screen, because you do need to actually do this for yourself. Download the brief. Go to Cole Campus, download the brief. And see what's there. Okay, let's do this quickly. All of you have got into the habit of this news search every single day. News South Africa, and take a look at all of the headlines that come up. Take a look and maybe even read some of them. You know, like this one here. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, has approved $4.3 billion US. That's something like 708 billion rands for South Africa to use in COVID-19 efforts. Okay. Then we've got, okay, a couple of other things here. If you take a look, you can see that it's mostly COVID-related news, obviously, because that's going to be trending right now. But there are other things as well. And unfortunately, some things are going unpublished. For example, I don't know if you guys know about the Pietermaritzburg dump fire. This has actually flown under the radar for a few days now. Maritzburg, which is sort of inland from Durban, for those of you who haven't been into the province of KwaZulu-Natal. This is what it looks like right now. Okay, there's a dump site which is here, and it caught on fire last Thursday, I think, and it's been on fire, it's been smoking, and all of the toxic fumes and the gases and the smoke have been sitting over the city of Pietermaritzburg, and people are battling to breathe, and it's virtually on the edge of being turned into classified as a disaster area. So this is something that, it affects hundreds of thousands of people, and it's not even being reported on at the moment, which is pretty hectic. What else have we got? Let's see. Okay, Independent Online is a news site that I personally don't go on because, well, they have their own agenda. But yeah, EFF wants Bandile Masuku to step down over COVID-19 tenders scandal. And of course, with all of the plague comes all of the political scandal and shenanigans, and every political agency is using the plague in one way or another. So, that's another one. We've got Maritzburg residents left in the dark for weeks to take streets in protest. We've got ANC top brass wants Digo and Masuku to explain roles in alleged irregular PPE tender. Okay, so that's pretty much the same as this one, except from the ANC's point of view. Let's see, what else have we got? Wind says unemployment due to COVID is the second pandemic. But we've also been told that poverty due to COVID is the second pandemic, or hunger as well. So, we've got dogs stabbed during alleged something interesting here, because it relates to what will be, and that is ethics. Today's topic in journalism is ethics, and you have to note this alleged domestic dispute. The reason why alleged is used so much is because when something is possibly criminal or possibly going to be under judicial, if it's a court case of some kind, then you can't just say this person did it or that person did it. You can't claim a judge, because then you might risk maligning somebody's character. And we'll talk about that just now with the ethics discussion that we're going to have. I'm really hoping that you guys have done the reading, because